I'm officially Unc now. My birthday was about 2.5 weeks ago. I just turned 24. And let me tell you something. Life is already hitting me incredibly harder than it was hitting me when I was 23. And I felt like mentally I was at my worst spot when I was 23. Dog, my legs hurt. It hurts to get out of bed. My shoulders be sore whenever I try to reach for something. I feel like my mind is rapidly maturing every single second. But I also feel like my ears are changing. About a week ago, I dropped my nettspend review, and I got a lot of negative feedback from that album review. And let me make something very clear. I stand on everything that I said. However, I did have to do some reflection. Why did I get so much negative feedback? And then I looked at some of y'all's profile pics and did some research just on the overall reception of the project. And that told me everything. A lot of y'all are in high school or middle school, or you just started college. You know, they say that a new generation is made every 15 years, and I call BS. Because as a 24-year-old, me and a 21 or 20-year-old don't really have a whole lot of meaningful things to talk about. Like, obviously, we are still young, but a 20-year-old's problem is not the same as a 24-year-old's problem, let alone a goddamn high school. Everyone's life isn't peaches and cream, obviously, but at the same time, I was all about just having the most fun, making some money, and worrying about getting an essay done when I was in college or in high school. When I graduated, real life smacked me hard as hell. Insane and unrealistic expectations. Jobs want 40 years of experience, but they are entry level. Everyone around you is asking you every single day, oh, what are you doing with your life? And then also telling you, oh, baby, it's okay. You still have time. When it feels like you don't have any time at all, and they're also kind of saying you don't have any time at all. And let me tell you something, brother. Finances become your main priority. There's no such thing as fun when you turn 24. So when I listened to this project, I absolutely hated it. But I saw the reception, which still wasn't the greatest, but it was more middle of the pack. And I saw the age group that let me know everything. I'm Unc now. You see, back in my day, yes, my day, because I'm about to go back 10 to 12 years. When I was in middle school and high school, the biggest talking points in hip hop specifically were the mumble rappers like Young Thug, Future, the Migos. Then the SoundCloud rappers, Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, which then morphed into the emo / mosh pit rappers with Trippie Redd, XXXTentacion, Ski Mask, Peep, Zan, which then morphed into more of a unique underground sound where at this point in time there's like 700 different versions of underground, but the one I'm speaking more about has something to do with Cardi, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, Yeet, and now this new crop of talent that includes rappers like Nettspend, Osama San, and Too Slimy. And one of the most annoying things that I kept hearing as a high schooler or somebody that was early in college or in middle school was that the late 20-year-olds, like the 25, 26, 27-year-olds going into their 30s, 40s, and then the gatekeepers of hip hop, everyone kept saying the exact same thing. Oh, man, everyone just sounds the same. And this isn't even hip hop. This is something else as a way to reject the new youth movement. And I feel like I'm slowly becoming that as I get older to a degree, but man, I don't want to be that. I sincerely want to reject that entire idea of that being me. I've made a video talking about Too Slimy. You could check it out on TikTok and IG. You know, by the way, you can go follow me. You know what I'm saying? You can go follow your boy right there, just quick and easy. And I essentially said, if his whole gimmick is just to jump around and make noise and call it music, we're cooked. But that's what they said about Cardi, about X, about Uzi, and a plethora of others. They said the exact same thing, and not too long ago, Plague Max hosted a song wars with a bunch of up-and-coming rappers, and Too Slimy went viral for how bad it was, and how everyone thought it was awful. And yes, even Max also thought it was awful. He was just capping for the stream. You could tell. Insane.
But that shit ain't nothing. That motherfucker, I give him a 0. I ain't gonna lie, I don't care if the fan base get me whatever. They told me he popping or whatever, but I don't like that. I know he got some other shit that's better than that, gang. I thought this shit was a joke at first.
Bruce. Bruce.
Why you laughing? I'm gonna give it a 2.
I bet. Act.
I'm gonna give that a 5 respectfully. You know what I mean? I thought it was like some RP music at first, but I don't know what y'all got going on. But I give it a 5. You know what I mean? The efforts did, I guess.
Nah, keep doing your thing, gang. But I'm giving you a 0, gang.
Wow.
You give him that nigga a 0 and say keep doing your thing.
That ain't it, man.
Dante.
I was trying so hard. Everywhere I go, this nigga's name keep popping up, and I was trying to give him a chance, and then I heard, I'm gonna give it a 0, but it's still fuck Ice.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck Ice.
Yeah, fuck Ice though. Yeah. Nick. Wow.
Why is it so quiet?
Nick.
I'm saying it's cool, 12. They did me the same way. It's all right.
I always try to see the vision with his music, but that shit was bullshit, bro. I give it a 0. I give it a 0 too.
Wait, y'all thought it was that ass?
I'm trying to see. That's trying to make me feel bad. Like, damn, like. That's what we got to do, bro. Come on,
Shay, y'all thought it was that ass?
Yo, Mac,
Bro, that was
you gotta keep it real, gang. Keep it real, Mac. For real, come on, bro.
But Too Slimy said something that stuck out. He said, y'all gotta get with the times. And while I don't think the times would include him or nettspend, considering how atrocious they are, which I'll get to later, what he is saying isn't wrong. I feel like personally I've had a hard time wrapping my arms around the new current raid scene with rappers like Ken Carson and Osama-san, Too Slimy, nettspend, and a plethora of others. Ken for me is a bit different considering the whole fact of his chest tattoo, but the point still remains. But unfortunately, that is the future of music. The future of music is going to be a mix of people that are either copycats of a certain artist like Cardi or NBA Youngboy or a plethora of others, or they're going to be heavily influenced by these said rappers. Nettspend is a for sure Cardi clone, and that's horrible because there's honestly nothing unique about it. But then there's an artist like Slayer, who is clearly influenced heavily by Cardi and actually makes good music. However, he's getting trashed on because, well, I don't know. They're calling it burger music. I really don't get it, but whatever. I guess he doesn't fit the overall aesthetic of what people believe you should look like and sound like if you're inspired by Cardi, but he reminds me more of Cochise, who was definitely inspired heavily by baby voice Cardi and at one point in time was just being called a straight up Cardi clone. But to me, he always kind of felt unique. He had his own flair, especially with his video game like production. He definitely makes his own beats. His vocal inflections were always fun, charismatic, and energetic. I thought Cochise, and still to this day, feels like he stands on his own island. And I think that's my overall issue with this current sound and why I feel like I'm unk. You remember that TikTok song that blew up crazy about 3-4 months ago and everybody thought it was NBA Youngboy, and then there were people that were 19 and 20 were just absolute Youngboy stans talking about some, nah man, that's not Youngboy. If you know Youngboy, bro, like you would know that don't even sound like him. And everybody that was my age and older was like, wait, that's not NBA Youngboy? Dog, the fact that I'm there, that's bad, bro. That's bad. Like, this isn't a designer situation where that was a clear-cut Future impersonation at that time. Like, this is entirely different because if you do listen to them, they do sound very similar, but they do have their own distinctness as well. It's very hard to hear if you're not either, I guess, young enough to understand the distinct difference, or you don't listen to NBA Youngboy, or you're like me, where I feel like my ears are just old, and now I think everybody, unfortunately, sounds the same. look, there's a million folks that are making YouTube videos just like how I make my YouTube videos, right? But there's a thing that everybody eventually has to come to grips with, is that you have to stand out and be unique and be a cut above the rest. And you just have to find that in yourself if you don't already believe in yourself that you are different from everybody else. But you got to prove that to the world. And so I don't want to be the 24-year-old unk nigga telling you, hey man, you sound just like such and such, because that makes me sound old and it makes me sound like I'm being dismissive when I'm not trying to be. What I'm really trying to say is that you can be influenced by this artist, but at least stand on your own 2 feet. At least feel unique. At least feel separate from this entity that you clearly idolize. But I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comment section below. Am I just unk? Am I old now? Am I hating? Y'all let me know in the comment section below. Again, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. It's been your boy Josh Shiro. We out.